Okay, I'm Ros Kayes. I happen to be a county councillor and a district councillor and a town councillor. But more than that, I'm an ordinary person who got asked to get involved. I had absolutely no interest in being a councillor until I was asked to get involved. And more of you need to do that, please, because that is part of the solution to this problem. And I wanted to say to the chap who said, you know, people don't go around to councillors anymore. And I wonder what the gentleman who turned up at my house at 9:30 last night would say to that. He'd had his benefits stopped and I'd managed to get them reinstated. And he just received a letter from ATOS saying that although he'd got benefits, disability benefit until 2017, could he please turn up on the first week of February for an interview and a medical assessment. And this man was so distressed that I did indeed invite him in for a cup of tea. And that does happen in and out with every councillor, probably from every party, actually. So councillors aren't such a bad thing. It's parties, I think, that are the problem. West Dorset District Council, I think, has to be one of the worst. A number of years ago, I did a training in something called the Leadership Academy, and we were given a project. We were asked to create a project, and my project was to democratise West Dorset District Council. Like Alistair, I'm afraid I failed, but not without a lot of noise and a lot of kicking. And one of the things that really interested me about that was that even the Conservatives who were in my working group on how to democratise the District Council were stunned at the way in which this particular District Council works, with its secrecy, its behind closed doors decision making, and its refusal to listen to members of the public. And you've heard from people in Bridport today, and I passionately agree with them, you know, the way in which a whole town can be completely isolated, one of the major towns in the district, and have its concerns completely ignored because the members of the cabinet largely come from a different part of the district and they're just not interested. It's not democratic, it's not democratic. But this is enabled to happen because of the cabinet system and because of the whipping system. Now, for those of you who don't know, whipping isn't some obscure sadomasochistic fantasy. Perhaps many would wish it was, but it's what happens when a party leadership gets their elected members to toe the party line and to hop, skip and jump to their tune. And basically what that means is the cabinet makes all of the decisions and when the council gets a chance to vote on it, what you see generally on the Conservative benches in West Dorset is they'll all stick their hands up and they won't even take part in the debate. I believe that the whipping system is one of the worst things about national government as well. Why bring the worst aspect of national government to sully the way in which local democracy works? I fail to understand why this system was introduced. I'm going to have to agree with you, Kim. Probably be the only time. People feel disenfranchised. People feel ignored, unlistened to by the political classes. They struggle with the impacts of poorly made decisions on their lives, and that's poorly made decisions by all parties in government. It's something that seems to happen when people get into power. Whether it's fuel prices, house prices, mortgages, bank loans, people feel as though they are bystanders to the interests that concern them. And they're powerless to affect corporate greed, globalisation, the banking crisis, or even little issues like whether we in Bridport have to pay to park on our streets when we pop into the shops. So what is the solution? Well, first of all, I think a different voting system in local elections that allows for more than 2 or 3 parties, so that we have a plurality of voices, so that we have Greens, that we have UKIP, that we have more independents, more ordinary people standing. Because your views, why am I meant to be an expert? You know, your views count. Just because because I'm a councillor doesn't mean that my opinion is more important than yours. So please get involved locally. Subsidiarity. That's an EU word. And it means devolving decision-making down to the lowest possible level. So it means that if a parish council or a town council can make a decision, give it the power to make that decision. Don't foist it upwards so that the county council makes the decision. Bring it down locally. Lobby for there to be a no cabinet government locally. And lobby, please, with national government, for us to have the opportunity to reintroduce unitary councils, because, by God, we need one in Dorset.